What are they doing?
I don't know. Did they glue themselves to
the
wall?
They glued themselves to the wall. I mean, what's going on with this world?
I kind of want to tend the soup.
I guess the whole reasoning behind that is because it's an oil painting and, fossil fuels, climate. Who knows? But hi, welcome to A Couple of Hoosiers podcast. I'm your host, Ricky Kurtz.
I'm your co-host, Charlie Goldsmith.
And we got a guest with us today. Say hi.
Hi.
How's it going? How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
Who are you?
I am Ricky's dad, Rick Kurtz. Big Pop Kurtz.
So yeah, we got some fun stuff that we're going to be talking about today. We got the FBI has been locking up a lot of pro-life activists. That's pretty cool. President Poopy Pants Biden decided to go ahead and piss off the Saudis who are, giving us most of our oil. So we'll see how that goes. And then, but the main topic that I want to talk about today is the rise of this term Christian nationalism. Like, what is it? I mean, it doesn't sound good, but we're going to get into it a little bit and talk about it. But real quick, I want to let you guys know that this is a live stream podcast. We stream on Odysee every Thursday and Saturday morning. So be sure to follow us. I also upload to YouTube when they don't ban me and block my videos for whatever reason. But go subscribe to the channels. Find a Couple of Hoosiers podcasts, and you can follow us anywhere.
Are we not banned from YouTube anymore now? We can
No, we're not. We're not banned from YouTube right now. I did put my last episode up when I was talking about the educated idiots that say that uneducated opinions shouldn't be allowed, and I had a segment on there where I was talking about John Oliver's rebuttal to the right, and they apparently didn't like that, so they wouldn't let me do it. So if you guys go and watch that on YouTube, I put a little section in there where that was at and said they won't let me put it on YouTube. So you can watch some of the episode on YouTube, but the best way is just to come over here to Odysee and just watch us here and catch us live. It's fun. See, like we got stuff like this. Like look at the fireworks.
Hey,
we got some of the best. These are some of the best graphics that you're gonna find anywhere on the internet. I mean, look at my camera right now. It's kind of. It looks a little
it's
weird.
Live.
Yeah. Their cameras are a little bit better than mine. Hey, don't be doing that. This is a family-friendly show. All right, but anyways, let me run that ad real quick before we start talking about anything. But A Couple of Hoosiers podcast, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, CastBox, pretty much anywhere that you listen to your podcast, you can find us. We're on Odysee, YouTube, Rumble, TikTok, and YouTube, like when I'm not banned from there because they're a bunch of commies. But go to the website, coupleofhoosiers.com. You can find everything there. I write blogs for all the episodes. They're pretty good. But go to Facebook, and you can find me and my wife's little woodworking company, R&M Kurtz Woodworks. We got some products there that you can look at. If you like any of that stuff or you have any idea of something that you want, get a hold of us, and we'll see what we can do for you. And make sure you hit that like and subscribe button wherever you're at. I know Odysee is like a little fire symbol. You can do that, and then you can follow the podcast. But, yeah, biggest way that you can help support the podcast, I don't expect anybody to give me money. If you want to, I'm not going to stop you. But share the podcast. Let people know about us. Get eyes on us. That's the biggest way that you can help. But, yeah. So, let's get into some little videos. I don't pay attention to the NFL that much, but I saw this video and it really shows where our culture is going and what people are talking about and focusing on. And I thought that this coach's response was pretty good. Let's go ahead and take a look at it.
You and Mike Tomlin are two of the few black head coaches in the league. I wonder what your relationship is like with them and your thoughts on Steve Wilkes joining that fold.
I have a very good relationship with Tomlin. We don't look at what color we are when we coach against each other. We just know each other. I have a lot of very good white friends that coach in this league as well, and I don't think it's a big deal as far as us coaching against each other. I think it's normal. Wilkes got an opportunity to do a good job. Hopefully he does it. And we coach ball. We don't look at color.
But you also understand that representation matters too, right?
I
And
like
when
that guy.
young aspiring coaches or even football players, they see you guys, they see someone that looks like them, maybe grew up like them. That has to mean something.
Well, when you say you see you guys and look like them and grow up like them, means that we're oddballs to begin with. And I think the minute you guys stop making a big deal about it, everybody else will as well.
I think the only people that are making big issues about it is the media.
Let that.
Like,
that
how
chair
are
goes
those
a little-
questions even relevant? Like, they should be
No,
asking,
and it's
how's your
like-
football team going? And,
Yeah,
that-
no
that's
doubt.
just-
It was like the first guy asked the question, like, this other black coach, and then this other black coach is coming in. How do you feel about that? And he's like, well, we don't really look at it about color or anything
It's
like
another
that. And then
coach.
the second lady, well, you do understand, like it does have somewhat of
a representation. No, he's representing the fact that he is a football coach.
No
Race
doubt.
has no issue. We're all the same damn color
Yeah.
on the inside, so I don't understand what the outside has to do with it.
I do appreciate his response to it.
I
He was
do,
just
too.
Like
He
that,
was-
you guys are just ridiculous.
Very professional.
Like this is why our society is going downhill, because we're focusing on the most minuscule issues. Like, I don't know. I saw that and I wanted to show it off, but
The racial shit going on in this country, honestly, is being fueled by the media.
oh, no doubt.
And I think that is being pushed by other people, Like I said before in other episodes, they are trying to do anything they can to separate, segregate, and get us fighting amongst each other. And it works, unfortunately.
Oh, it does work. But Bill Gates had some stuff to say, because we're like a big thing right now. Me and Brian were talking about it on another episode where we were talking about the possibility of World War III, but the pipeline coming from Russia to Germany to flow all that natural gas into Europe, it was sabotaged, blown up, and of course it was Russia. I mean, we would never say that it was like Biden or anything, but so Europe is actually facing like a serious problem right now where they might not have enough natural gas to heat their homes during this winter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and my favorite software engineer, big tech billionaire guy, Bill Gates, had some things to say about what's going to be happening at Europe. Let's go ahead and check that out.
What you do?
Well, BlackRock and Larry in particular are a great example of private sector leadership. Anyone who says that climate shouldn't be a factor in how you evaluate the future of a company, isn't that's not capitalism, because companies that have emissions, they are going to be subject to border adjustment tariffs or taxes. You also have to think about companies, if you're dealing with severe weather events, that's got to be factored in. Is the company ensuring that? Are they becoming more resilient? So the attacks are kind of illogical, because climate does affect the economy, which does affect investments. The idea that we still need oil and natural gas is also, fairly clear. We're not going to drain all the money away from those sectors. That's how people get to work today. It's how people avoid freezing to death in the winter. People did get a little optimistic about how quickly the transition could be done. Now, without the Russian natural gas being available in Europe, it's a setback. We need to find non-Russian hydrocarbon sources to substitute for those. So there's coal plants running and a variety of things, because keeping people warm, keeping those economies in decent shape is a priority. Now, on the other hand, it's good for the long run, because people won't want to be dependent on Russian natural gas. So they'll move to these new approaches more rapidly.
And you talk about companies protecting themselves. What do you think about the Fed stress testing banks for climate?
Yeah, so I mean, people are just gonna automatically want to switch away from Russian natural gas because it'll be better in the long run. But I mean, if they're freezing this winter, I mean, it's good for the long run, he says.
It's good for the long run, but how many people are going to die from this?
See, that brings up.
It's cold over there.
Yeah, that brings up a topic that I've talked about a couple times on here. Bill Gates is one of those people who thinks that there's too many people in the world. So
He does. Actually, I think he was the one that was interviewed some years ago about how he would solve that issue, and it was through a series of vaccinations. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy. He looks at families, creating more offsprings and adding to the population as a bit of a problem. And I mean, they talk about like this idea of like overpopulation, but they never really like actually explain like in full detail how it is actually a problem and if we don't have enough food. I mean, I get there are like a lot of like in a lot of countries there are people that are starving right now, but I think it's more on like how we delegate our resources. Like because in America, I mean, me and you have talked about it before where like we do like overproduce a lot of stuff, and it's like if we like if we concentrate,
we waste a lot.
We waste a lot, and I don't know if we made a better effort. I really don't think that we're overpopulated. I think we just do a piss poor job at our resource allocation.
I don't think that we're overpopulated per se, but I do know that the only reason why there's people starving is because the elitists out there refuse to give free food away, even though we're going to throw it away anyways.
Well, I mean, we've talked about it before. I mean, their biggest idea to solve it is just make us eat bugs, or
right.
Like in my
I'm
last
not eating bugs.
In my last episode, I was showing how they have a new technology of like making their own meat. With
I seen that.
Yeah.
3D printer meat.
Yeah, 3D printer making steaks and meat and all that stuff. And they use a lot of soy. Which
is not steak.
Well, I mean, soy has its... I mean, depending on who you ask, soy has a lot of problems in the male society of lowering testosterone.
Well, that's why everybody wants to cut their... Never mind.
Yeah, we won't get there. We won't get there. But Biden, I played this in my last video, but if you guys didn't see it, I want you guys to check this out because Biden had some stuff to say about the carbon levels and all that stuff. So here, let's go ahead and watch that since it goes into like what's going on around the globe with like the whole carbon emissions and all that stuff.
But we see an opportunity, a real opportunity, to shift to a net zero sum carbon world in one of the most significant economic transitions since the Industrial Revolution. That's not hyperbole, that's a fact. We're also...
So yeah, they're literally pushing for net zero carbon, but I mean, another thing that you got to think about is us three right here and everybody else in the world is also made up of carbon. So it like really leads to the question of like, what carbon do they want to
get rid of?
Yeah. You're the carbon they want to get rid of.
I mean, we are carbon-based life forms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I'm like their talk about like a net zero carbon and then their goal to like reach like net zero carbon emissions, and I don't know. And also with like how I was just saying with like the overpopulation, it just leads you to speculate, and I don't know. Call me a conspiracy theorist. I don't care.
This day and age, everybody should question everything. They just, you know what I mean? Especially if it's coming from any kind of government official, because they are so crooked anymore. You can't believe half the shit that comes out of their mouth. You just can't. You don't know if it's some smoke being blown up your ass for votes. Or...
Let me ask you guys a question real quick. How do you know if a politician is lying?
He talks. He speaks. Thank you.
Again, I got that. That's the same audience that laughs during John Oliver's comedic references. I was actually doing that like when I was doing the segment this last Thursday, and I was going through like he had some parts where like everybody was laughing, and then I would play my little laugh track, and it sounds oddly similar.
Is there a connection? I think so.
But you know the world is getting crazy, and I got something that I want to show you guys just to show how crazy things are getting. Where like people are just doing some of the craziest stuff like out in the open. Let's watch this.
Is that dude straight trying to jack somebody?
It gets worse.
What the? Holy shit, did he just kill those people?
I don't think so. But I mean, just like right out in the open, midday, like.
Try to jack her, didn't work. Grab a gun, start firing it. What the hell?
Yeah.
Where was that?
I don't know where it was at. I just saw the video on Twitter, and I decided to show it off because the world is literally going crazy, and I don't like where my mic is placed. Let me lower that down. It makes me look weird. But
it's not the mic.
Well, I was always told my whole life that I really have a face for radio, so that's why I was like, oh, podcast would be a really good thing. And then I started incorporating video, and people were like,
radio.
Oh.
That's just crazy. I thought he was going to carjack the other person.
That's what I was thinking too when I started watching it, and then she handed him.
So what? He grabbed a gun from the other guy and started shooting.
Yeah. Yep.
I almost wish that red car would have hit him. One less dumbass on the planet.
There's a lot of crazy videos that I've been seeing lately, and it's just this world is just bonkers. Like. I don't know what you want to blame it on. You can blame it on the food that we're eating. You can blame it on a spiritual warfare if you believe in that. I've also heard talks of like I think I was saying the last time we were talking, I was mentioning this guy, what is it, Ben Davidson with Suspicious Observers. He's saying like something about how the sun is like affecting our electromagnetic field, and it's
I've
like
watched
shifting.
A few of his things.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. Go check him out. Suspicious Observers on YouTube. You can find him. He does a little video every morning.
Every morning for the sun. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. I just saw the other day he did a video, and apparently the sun has tornadoes.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Eruptions. There's solar flares that rip from it.
See, I knew that stuff, but like tornadoes on the sun, that scares me. I saw the image of it, and I was like, that looks absolutely terrifying. Can you just imagine a tornado of fire?
Oh yeah, I could on the sun.
Imagine when it comes here.
If it can just stay there, that'd be great.
Let's go ahead and
they've said for a long time, scientists, I bet for the last 50 years or so, say that a good whiplash from the a good solar lash from the sun could be the end of us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And there would be nothing we can do to prevent it. I mean, that's a solar flare.
That's what's going to happen. I mean,
there's certain things in this world that we just don't have control over. You know, solar
the sun's
flare.
Going to burp.
I like that expression. It's going to burp.
Everything's going to be done with. I mean,
the shitty part
put the mic more in front of your face.
Is we won't really know it until after it happens. You know,
in a blink of an eye, everything will be gone. And all things.
They also say like not even like a solar flare like so heavy that to where it'll like completely
knock out
eliminate
our ozone,
like completely knock us out like eliminate all of us, but like it could
what they're saying
affect
is
our electrical grid to the point where
wouldn't-
like we wouldn't have technology anymore.
Well, what they're saying is that what we have to worry about is not the fact that the actual flare itself would kill us. What it would do is like destroy our ozone. And once our ozone is gone, there's nothing to protect us from the rays as it is, because it is extremely radioactive in space because of the sun.
Well, I mean, like what I wanted to get at with if it knocked out technology and like our whole electrical grid, that could be a good thing, because I see this.
Half our population would die.
Well, if like something doesn't happen like that where they get rid of technology, I feel like this could be our future. I think this is what they want for us.
13 to 25-year-olds would be dropping dead everywhere, man. No cell phone. They just...
This is what they want for us.
I believe it.
They believe.
They've got automated driving cars already, which I actually just watched a video of a guy that actually took a ride on a driverless Uber. Okay, and I think we watched a video that one time on they're trying to get these little robots to deliver shit. For the DoorDash, and it showed the next video, like all in one video. The next scene was these people like kicking the damn thing, knocking it over.
Real quick, before we start getting into the topics, I want to show a couple pictures off real quick. Just this one made me laugh because it gets on the topic of abortion, which we're about to kind of talk about a little bit. But apparently, Boston's Children's Hospital believes that you can know if the baby is trans in the womb. Boston Children's Hospital says children can know they're transgender from the womb in deleted video. And the libs are like, oh man, they're like, we don't know what we want to choose. Like either it's just a clump of cells and like it's okay for us to abort it, or they know that they're trans in the womb. I saw that and I thought that was funny.
I can almost guarantee that whatever that is considered in the womb has no thoughts of sex or anything just yet.
I just thought it was funny.
That God, man. I just can't believe how naive people are, because I know there's people out there feeding into this.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You know,
Definitely.
like, are you really that dumb?
All right, let's go ahead and start getting into these articles and talking about it, because I really want to get into the topic of Christian nationalism. I think it's really interesting, but some updates on things that are happening around the world is also important for us to talk about. So over here, coming from the Federalist, get that off of there. Wait, what was that saying?
I don't know. Hey.
Mitch McConnell breaks with Kevin McCarthy, pledges to send more aid to Ukraine. Awesome. We've already sent them like $64 billion, but let's send them some more. Okay, the FBI has announced indictments of 22 pro-life protesters and 0 pregnancy center firebombers. So yeah, I've talked about this a few times. Like there's been some pro-life protesters that have had FBI raids. And let's take a look at this one. This was one of the raids.
But if you're not going to let me, then I'll just...
No, I want to know why you were banging on my door with a gun.
That's loud.
You're not going to tell me anything?
No, they're not. I tried.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
You did not try.
So whose house is this?
It was a pro-life protester. They've been coming at all these people who have apparently been violating
This is
the
not
FACE Act.
acceptable.
But we'll talk about it in a second. Her husband was just arrested by these people.
Seriously?
Mm-hmm.
Can I have your name? You're not going to give me your name. You're not going to give me any information.
So they just pulled up in unmarked vehicles, arrested her husband, and drove off without a word. Mm-hmm. Is that even legal?
See, further details into this video. I don't think she says anything more. They just start driving away. 15.
And all he was a peaceful protester.
Yeah, they're not saying anything else. No. But apparently, like, she was in the back of the house when this was happening. Now, I'm not 100% sure if they arrested her husband there, but I know that they came after him because there's been a big thing with the FACE Act, which has to do with, like, blocking the entrance of pregnancy centers, like whether it be an abortion clinic or a pro-life pregnancy center. But there's been a lot of these people, these 22 pro-life protesters that they're talking about, basically just sitting in front of the doors of these abortion clinics. They're violating the FACE Act by not letting people get through, and that's why the FBI has been coming at them. But they're breaking the law. Okay. It gets into wondering, like, since the Supreme Court turned down Roe v. Wade earlier this year, if that law is even applicable, because they determined that abortion wasn't a constitutional right. So I don't know. My biggest problem, though, they were breaking the law, and that should happen. My biggest problem, though, is the fact that there have been I think close to 100 different instances of vandalism or fire bombings on, like, pro-life centers, and you don't hear anything from the federal government about it. But they're quick to come and attack these people. And
now my question is, okay, so if he did break the law, and he's getting arrested and everything like that, that's cool or whatever. But when she's asking them questions on why and how and what's going on, aren't they obligated to at least explain?
I believe so, yes.
I'm pretty sure that's her right, not only as a citizen, but as the wife of the man.
I don't know if, because I know, like, they're supposed to reach your Miranda rights and all that stuff, but I don't know if that's only for the person that they're going after, if that's who they're supposed to explain themselves to, or if they have to say any, or if they are even obligated to say.
Well, I feel like there's some kind of obligation towards a wife or a husband.
Patriot Act of their threat to national security.
If they call it treason or something like that, they don't have to explain to anybody. But it's not
that wouldn't. I mean, the Patriot Act is dangerous, and the FBI has come out and said, like, the biggest threat to democracy is, like, the far right and all that stuff, white nationalists and all that. So I don't know. I just wanted to bring that up real quick. Let me see what this is saying. So the Department of Justice under Attorney General Merrick Garland announced the indictment of pro-life activist Herb Girardi. That's a name. Oh, I don't even have it up on the screen, but whatever. You guys can just look at our faces. October 14th, bringing the number of apparently non-violent pro-life protesters targeted under the FACE, Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act, by President Joe Biden's DOJ this year to 22. Meanwhile, the agency has yet to announce a single arrest or indictment against any of the vandals or arsonists who terrorized and firebombed crisis pregnancy centers after the leak of Supreme Court's Dobbs v. Jackson decision overturning Roe v. Wade. So yeah, I mean, it's there's I don't understand. I don't get it.
There's no justice in the streets.
Not anymore.
It's definitely showing like a two-tiered justice where, like, one side of the political spectrum is being treated differently from the other side. Because, I mean, even if you look at, like, what's going on with, like, January 6th and, like, what happened during 2020 with all the riots, or the Summer of Love.
Actually, more so on that, it's more like, it seems like the left has more police power.
Mm-hmm. Which is really weird. Because, they were all defund the police, but they're totally fine with the with federal police.
So
force.
We had that conversation on another episode. I still believe that we have way too many authorities.
Mm-hmm.
We have a CIA. We have the FBI. What is it? You said something else just now.
I said and the Fed.
Oh, there's just
there's the FBI. There's a CIA. There's what else is there? I know
Homeland
they got
Security.
Homeland Security. Yep. Yeah, they've got all these departments, and it's just
the alphabet. But I don't understand why we need so many of those different categories. They say that they cover different aspects and everything, but really FBI look like just more souped up armored cops.
No doubt.
You know, they look exactly the same as cops. But actually it's like a mix between military and police, honestly. Because some of that shit looked like military grade.
I'm pretty sure that was a M16 that guy had.
Like, we don't need that, man.
It could have been an AR-15. Who knows?
Regardless, was that really necessary to go arrest?
Yeah. Yeah, the whole situation. But let's get into this other topic real quick.
But that's what you have when no justice is when justice is lacking.
Justice is very much lacking, man. You get arrested now for saying your piece anymore. There's no such thing as freedom of speech.
Well, like, and I was talking about like the people from January 6th, like they're still going on about that. If anybody knows, Steve Bannon, he was Donald Trump's political strategist at the beginning of his term, his presidential term. He had him, and then I don't know exactly what happened, but he let him go, and then Steve Bannon started this podcast, and they're like trying to incorporate him with January 6th, and they just sentenced him to 4 months in federal prison for what was it? It was contempt of the January 6th hearing committee. So, and now they've indicted Donald Trump, so who knows what's going to happen. I think the whole thing is a sham. The January 6th hearing committee, it's just ridiculous. But let's talk about some other stuff.
You ever think they had some lefts in there to push that?
Oh, there was definitely some in there. There was definitely, yeah, you could see, you could actually see like video of like all these people like would get there and they would change into like a bunch of Trump MAGA clothing and all that stuff. And there was an actual person that was there wearing a bunch of MAGA stuff, and it turned out that he was actually affiliated. I don't know if it was with Antifa or Black Lives Matter, but he was a known like affiliate with them.
What's MAGA stand for again?
Make America Great Again. Yeah. Yeah, we've been called the MAGA Republicans. Like Joe Biden's constantly talking about the MAGA Republicans and how we're so extreme.
But isn't that a good thing for us to be wanting to represent? Make America great again? You know? Why are we fighting about this? Why are you demoralizing it and like putting it down?
Well, a lot of
Americans want to make America great again.
A lot of the reasons why they say that they don't like the term "Make America Great Again" is because they're trying to like figure out, well, like what point in America do you want to take it back to? Because they like try to talk about like the 50s and 60s when black people didn't have the right to vote, women didn't have the right to vote, and there was segregation and Jim Crow laws. And that's not even what it's about. It's just back to whatever point you want to call it, where America was actually viewed and respected like worldwide. Like people loved being in this country, and they
couldn't wait to come here. Now everybody wants to leave, and nobody wants to come here. Nobody even hardly wants our money anymore.
I mean, they're still coming through the borders, but that's
only because we're shipping them over here, and most of them aren't. Never mind.
Well, I mean, we are on Odysee, so we could say what we want. It's just when I go to upload to those commies over at YouTube. But let's get into the next topic, because I got some more stuff that I want to talk about. So from Yahoo Finance USA, why Saudi Arabia and OPEC can diss Biden. What a title for Yahoo. Why they can diss Biden. Professionals.
I know, right? Using slang all up in the title.
DISS.
Diss.
Yeah.
Diss.
How you gonna disrespect me?
All right, but Washington is aflame in the aftermath of the October 5th decision of the OPEC Plus oil cartel to cut oil production for the foreseeable future. OPEC Plus includes the 13 members of OPEC and 11 other nations, most notably Russia. Saudi Arabia is the biggest energy producer among the group and its de facto leader. Russia is the second biggest energy producer in the group. Saudi Arabia seems to be doing Russia's bidding by keeping oil markets tight and pushing oil prices up. Oil exports are the Russian government's biggest source of revenue and a crucial source of financing for its diabolical war in Ukraine. Most of the Western world supports Ukraine, including tough sanctions meant to strangle Russia's economy. President Biden has asked Saudi Arabia to pump more oil to stabilize energy markets amid wartime disruptions. So really what he's trying to do is, because he knows that how high gas prices are right now, what he was really doing was he was doing another quid pro quo, like, hey, pump out more oil so gas prices can go down, so Democrats can have something to stand on this midterm election. But they said no.
And I'll give you a slow jack and a ball rub, right? Was that the deal?
So the Saudi rebuke is a win for Russian President Vladimir Putin and a political embarrassment for Biden just ahead of midterm elections. It also means consumers in all the countries supporting Ukraine will pay more for gasoline and other oil products. So, yeah, that's okay. So Biden has said there will be consequences for what they've done with Russia without spelling out what those might be. But Saudi Arabia, like it or not, retains tons of leverage over the U.S. and world energy markets, even as many nations move to curtail the use of fossil fuels and boost renewables. Hit that like and subscribe button. Because, yeah, that's like literally why he went to Saudi Arabia to talk to the leaders over there about pumping more oil so gas prices can go down so they can have a leg to stand on this coming midterm election. Because pretty much the only thing that I believe that Democrats can run on right now is the fact that they're trying to codify Roe v. Wade and codify a constitutional right for women to get abortions. That's literally like the only thing that they can argue right now that like makes sense for them. And because, yeah, I mean, you can literally go back. I think one of the fact checking sites just recently, I can't remember which one it was, but they just recently came out and they were like fact checking whether or not gas was cheaper during Trump's presidency. And they were like, well, yeah, we have to fact check. I can't remember how they said it, but it was like one of those fact checks where they were like, we don't want to say it's true, but we have to say like, well, it's mostly true or something like that. They have like all these categories of like mostly false, mostly
they
true.
Can say what they want, but me as a citizen paying for gas can 100% tell you while he was in office, the gas prices were at least $1.50 cheaper. Mm-hmm. At least. That shit's almost $5 in some
I remember
places.
It being under $2.
Yeah. Yeah, at one point it got down to like $1.96, I think it was.
And like throughout his whole presidency, I don't even think it got close to $3.
No, it was, I think the most I ever seen it was like maybe $2.49.
But then you got to think back when bomb dropping Obama was in office, it was above $4.
Yeah. Yep. So basically what you're trying to say is anytime a Democrat's in office, the last couple times, yeah.
I wasn't driving during Clinton's presidency, but I don't know.
Clinton didn't really do much, honestly. He was set up before he even hit office, but everybody thought he was. I mean, I didn't think he was a bad guy.
You can go and read some of the stuff that he was doing, and I don't know. Politics have been corrupt for the past like 30, 40,
longer than
50, 60. Politics is just corrupt. I mean, honestly, the way that it's going, like I said many times, like I used to view myself as more libertarian, but as I look into like the mainstream libertarian views, they're kind of gay and I don't like it. But I mean, honestly, if this is the way that our government is going to conduct themselves, it almost pushes me to the point, almost, to like anarchism or something like that, where I just don't want any government, but I realize then like
you can't really
you can't do it. It sounds really good on paper, like no government, I can just do what I want.
Yeah.
But then you have those people that will do what they want, as we saw like in that video earlier where we already have government control, and I've seen tons worse videos. I don't know, maybe I'm just gonna have to do an episode where like I just find some of the worst videos that I see that's going on in the world.
That would be good.
But you're seeing that on the streets. I mean, you have a government that's lawless. So you're seeing on the street people that are lawless.
Like, and I mean, I'm sick of seeing people like say like we need to like have like a red wave or something, because I've talked about it before on this podcast. Where
our hope should not be in our government.
I believe it was Ronald Reagan that said the worst thing that you can hear somebody say is, "Hey, I'm from the government and I'm here to help."
I'm telling you, I've been saying it for a while, man. We need to, as a nation, we need to stop looking at it as a red versus blue or a left versus right, and start thinking about it as citizens versus the government, man.
Because I see it on both sides, where like they'll say vote all blue, vote straight blue, and all that stuff, or you'll see it on the right where they're like vote straight red. We need a red wave. And it's like, no, pay attention to who you're voting for and actually like look into these people and what they're standing for. Like if you're a Hoosier right now, I would honestly say this year for the U.S. state senator, don't vote for Todd Young just because he's a Republican. There's another guy that I've talked about on this podcast. His name is Danny Niederberger. He's running as a Republican write-in. So when you get to the ballot box, there's going to be a section where you can like select write-in and just write out Danny Niederberger. I'll probably link his website and you can find him, because his last name is kind of weird, and if you can't spell it right, that's going to lead to ballot problems like we had a couple of years ago.
And when I say us versus the government, it's not that I think we should, and I know they could take that out of context and think definitely. It sounds violent, but here's the thing. You guys are not doing your job to keep us safe. Hence the video we just seen. If you are doing all you can to keep your citizens safe, then why the hell was that dude able to do that for so long with no response from police? That lady had the ability to drive away.
Well, honestly, I think it was a guy. You just straighten your mic out.
Whatever.
I don't know. It gets into the topic of like how much the government should actually do. Like I don't want like too much federal government. It's more like if the state governments would start doing more.
Well, if you look at that, look at Illinois, dude. That one thing that we watched, what was it, a couple of episodes ago?
Come January 1st, you don't want to live in you don't want to live in Illinois.
Like, are you kidding me?
Come January 1st, they're pretty much legalizing.
Have you heard about that?
No.
So basically, they're making it to where so I can't remember all the details, but the one that struck me the most is that after this hits like in place, somebody could move into your property, and the cops won't come and remove them. You have to determine what force you need to use to remove them from your property, and if you use too much force, you will go to jail.
And it's really hard to get a gun in Illinois, and they don't have castle doctrine like we do. Like we do here in Indiana, where like if somebody comes on your property and is threatening your life, you have the right to shoot them.
There's quite a few more shitty things that go with it, but that was the one that hit me the hardest.
Yeah,
like,
I mean they're not like legalizing
murder,
like, actual murder. I think they did say like it was either second degree or third degree. I don't remember.
Oh, and they also said they'd be tracking people, but they're not allowed to look for them for 48 hours.
So they could practically get all the way to Alaska.
Oh yeah,
they said that in the video. But yeah, it's the future looks grim.
My worry is how long is it going to be before that moves to other states? And Illinois is damn close to
like
home.
There's a lot of blue states. Like I know I hate using that term, but like Democratic ran states that are ran by Democrats, like Oregon. Oregon is one I've talked about them recently, where they pretty much decriminalized all hard drugs. Like there's this big push from Democrats to soften their views on crime because they're saying like too many people are going to jail, which I mean, I agree. Like there are a lot of people that's going to jail, but I mean, at the same point, just saying, oh, well, just do whatever you want. And
okay, so if you got too many people in jail, how about stop keeping the ones that, have obviously murdered people? Just like, don't give two shits. I'm just going to murder this guy, and if you let me out again, I'm going to do it again. That person apparently has something wrong. They gave up their human rights, and it's time for them not to be here anymore. You know what I mean? Like Ron White said in a comedy show one time, we need to be more like Texas. Everybody else is trying to abolish the death sentence. Texas putting in a fucking, we'll bring you right to the front of the line.
You get the express pass.
You kill us, we will kill you back.
No doubt.
And we need to do that. These people are killing people, and then they get put in prison, and they get three hot meals a day. They get a place to sleep.
3 hots and a cot.
Yeah. And they don't give a shit. Obviously they don't, because if they did, they wouldn't have killed nobody.
Yeah.
You know,
that leads into like a lot of different topics. Like there's a lot of Marxists that think like we should make our prison systems like more comfortable for the inmates and stuff like that, and try to focus more on like rehabilitating and all that. Like I agree to some extent. There has to be like more
murderers. I'm sorry.
Rehabilitation, but I mean it's like I've never been to prison. I don't know what it's like in there, but like if there is any like sort of like resemblance to like what we see in like the movies where like all these like guards and stuff like that are like as corrupt as they show in there, and that is going on, then that is a big problem.
I know they are, because I've known people that have been in prison and told me that the whole way they were getting stuff in prison were through the guards.
See, that's a big problem. Like that's the reason why these prisons don't work, is that is actually happening, and they're not being held accountable for that. Like, of course, we're gonna have a messed up system where people are just career criminals.
And I hate to say it, I keep saying it, but it comes all back to greed, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Comes all back to greed. That's why I say until we can really worry about each other as humans, not as black, not as white, not as Asian, not as whatever, as humans, as a human race, if we don't wake up soon, there ain't going to be no human race left. They're just not going to be.
Here, let's go ahead and before we get into the big topic of Christian nationalism, let's go ahead and look at this video, because you guys were kind of seeing it as I was going through audio testing. It's pretty interesting. Oh, I need to get it to where you guys can actually see the video. Uh-oh.
What?
If men can't control themselves, seeing women in skirts, who let them control whole countries?
What?
She don't even know.
What? What?
Hit that like and subscribe button and make sure you follow the podcast and share the podcast. It's the biggest thing that you can do to help. But let's go ahead and get into this last topic of Christian nationalism.
Bum bum bum.
Like what are they saying? What are they doing? It seems weird to me. I don't like the term. But from Newsweek, Pentecostal leaders disavow Christian nationalism in stark statement. Okay, so they're talking about this website for NAR and ChristianNationalism.com. They went live declaring a mini declaration of war where they're disavowing.
Go ahead.
But
I got something to say afterwards.
It contains a 1,544 word statement that condemns Christian nationalism, which is the belief that America is a Christian nation and that its government must support Christianity as the nation's defining and original religion. The statement aims to separate the bulk of the nation's roughly 73 million Pentecostals and charismatics from what these leaders say is a fringe element that espouses a dangerous and unhealthy form of Christian nationalism. The leaders said they deny any affiliation with a movement that speaks of a potential Christian uprising against the government or hints at the use of force to advance God's kingdom. They also said they reject all ideologies and movements claiming ethnic or racial superiority. So that was a big thing for me. Originally I was hearing this term, but I was hearing it from like left-wing news sites like Newsweek and stuff like that, where they were like saying like Christian nationalism is on the rise. They were talking about people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, and I was thinking it was just like a buzzword that they were using. But I recently watched this debate on it's a channel called The Crucible, where like all these people can't see it. I don't know when that comment was. What can't you see?
Is it Brian?
No.
Oh. You say hi, Brian.
But But they had this debate where it was some people like advocating for Christian nationalism, and then two people that were advocating against it. And honestly,
who are the Christian nationalists?
They're like the two people that were arguing for it were kind of split on their decision for it. I think one of them was Eastern Orthodox, and then the other one, I think he said something about being Baptist. I don't understand all the different denominations in Christianity. There's so many.
I don't understand why there is so many denominations.
It's just basically like people's different interpretations of the Bible and all that stuff that leads into like a whole slew of topics. But the
so
main,
I like this, but I don't like this. But I like this,
so
but I don't like this. So I'm going to call myself a Baptist.
Bar. You can just pick and choose whatever you want.
Yeah.
Somewhat, yeah. But so the debate got really interesting because the two people that were arguing for Christian nationalism kind of had like a different look at what Christian nationalism was. They both said that like they don't like espouse anything about like an ethno-nationalism or like anything like that. They're not white supremacists. Well, obviously one of them was a black guy that was going for it. So obviously he's not saying anything about that. But one of the guys that I like definitely didn't agree with, and this is what Christian nationalism is. I don't agree with it at all, but he's like saying like the church needs to be in charge of the state. And yeah, like, because he's saying like, because I've been kind of listening to people talk about like Eastern Orthodox, and apparently like it's like a top down hierarchy within the church. Like I'm not even sure that they actually
talking about dealing with like a Hierophant and all that shit.
Yeah, like kind of like setting up like a theocracy or something like that. And I've said many times in this podcast, I am completely against that. We've seen it over and over throughout history. Germany had a theocracy. France had a theocracy. France turned really bloody with the French Revolution. So, I mean, it doesn't work. Like the point of like Christianity isn't to rule the nation with it. I mean, I've got this,
I hate to say this, but think about how many wars have been fought because of religion. Mm-hmm. How bloody and violent religion is. Mm-hmm. This is why I'm sorry. I don't like look down on anybody what they believe, but this is why I don't like religion, because it's I think it was created for evil purposes, man.
I mean, the biggest problem with it is people's interpretation of it, because
yeah, now you can't even keep up because there's like 900 different denominations of one.
But I mean, a verse that really like strikes me from the Bible is 1 Corinthians chapter 4. Let me get to the second screen. Let me pull it up. Down here at the bottom, we work hard with our hands. When we are cursed, we bless. When we are persecuted, we endure it. When we are slandered, we answer kindly. We have become the scum of the earth, the garbage of the world, right up to this moment. So like that, like I see like a lot of verses. Like I'm not like really good at like quoting Bible verses and all that stuff. I don't have the whole Bible memorized or anything like that. But nothing in the Bible really like shows me that like Christians are supposed to like rule the world. Like right there, like that verse is talking about how like we're the scum of the earth. Like
they're misplaced in the faith. They're shipwrecked when it concerns the faith. Nothing about the faith has to do with this world.
Like we're supposed to be completely separated from the world. Like we're supposed.
This world is not my home. I'm looking for a new home at Mount Zion. That's where righteousness is, and righteousness only comes from the Lord when He's sitting on Mount Zion. Which you have all these denominations and everything. These are just men's opinions getting carried away through wickedness. That they're just clouds with no rain. These people, they're taking a good holy name that is found in Scripture to define a group of people that went through such persecution for God, and they're making it means something that means nothing. We're not fighting for a kingdom of this world. Faith in the Lord God Almighty has nothing to do with the kingdom of this world. And if they think that they can try to establish his kingdom on this world, they truly don't know what the faith is about. And they're just pursuing selfish, fleshly desires, which has nothing to do with...
Now, see, this is like in that debate, like how I was saying, like the two guys that were arguing for Christian nationalism, they kind of split because one of them, who was Eastern Orthodox, he was like saying like the church should like control the state and all that stuff. But the other guy, like the way that I kind of view like how it should be, like I don't like the term Christian nationalism because it's like whenever you like put like anything in front of nationalism, it kind of paints the picture like the nation is only for this group of people. And I don't like that. Like I like American nationalism. I would say that I'm an American nationalist. Like anybody that is an American citizen, I want them to thrive. I want this country to work for them. But people like hear terms like nationalist or nationalism and stuff like that, and they all automatically paint it to like white nationalism, which I don't agree with.
And that's
obviously
stupid. Nationalism should be a word that we could use as an American that just basically says we're proud of our nation and want to
because
thrive.
like you look at like other countries like Germany, Russia, France, like these people, like when you think of the people in that country, you think of like you could say that they're like the French, they're the Germans, like they're a people, they're a nation. But when you look at America, you have this problem where like we've been trying to like push this like multicultural democracy or whatever, where you have like, and I mean I get it, like most of our states are like the size of like other countries and stuff like that. We are a large country.
Well, not
like,
most of our states, but a couple of our states
like
are pretty
a lot of our
Texas,
states,
California,
Texas, Alaska. I mean, hell, Indiana is kind of like I think it's bigger than Italy and stuff like that. Like some of these smaller countries, but I don't know. That's kind of my point though. What I really want to get at though is the other guy in the argument was kind of saying like his views on like what Christian nationalism is just that Christians should be allowed to run for office and hold office and still be able to hold on to their Christian beliefs and like let it, because I mean when you have Christian beliefs and stuff like that, it kind of dictates like your worldview and stuff like that. And there's a lot of people right now that are like,
when the Lord was here on earth, the world did not accept him. What makes us think that being his child, the world would accept us?
Right.
Why do you think, why should we have rights greater than our Lord? We're not greater than the master.
Of course.
If they did not receive his words, what makes us think that we have greater rights than his?
That's why like I said, like a theocracy will never work, and I'm never striving for that. Like I want people because I saw a video earlier today where I don't remember where or when it happened, but this government lady was trying to like do like a prayer and stuff, and I'm not necessarily against that, but kind of like the way that she was doing it kind of seemed like she wasn't being genuine in her prayer, and like she was just trying to make a point to like say Jesus a lot of times, say God a lot of times, and all this stuff. And I was like, I mean, like I think Christians should be able to hold office and all that, because there's a big talk. It's happened since the 70s. There's a really good book that you can go and read. It's called The Dark Agenda or something like that, but it goes into like this talk about how like these atheists, like certain atheists have been pushing for like removing like the idea of Christianity from this world, like whether it's from the school system and stuff like that. But the big thing that they focus on is separation of church and state because of the establishment clause in the First Amendment, where it says something about like government shall make no law establishing like a religion or anything like that. And I agree with that, but I think like what people are like misinterpreting it as is that like no government official should be able to say anything about their religion whenever they're in politics and stuff like that. And that's not what it is. It's like because when it was set up, like a big reason why they put that in the First Amendment was because you have to think about like what was happening before 1776 and stuff like that when we set up this country. Like I can't remember what the time frame was. I think it was like either 50 or 100 years before, but you had the Salem witch trials where these Pentecostal churches were like burning people that they said
that was the Church of England.
Was it the church?
Yeah.
I don't remember the
Pentecostals didn't come up until way later.
Yeah, see, like I don't know all the different denominations and all that stuff. I might have misheard something before about it. I haven't read too much about it, but I mean, pretty much that's why they set it up, because like when the 13 colonies originally started, they were like kind of like pushing like their own religions in their own state. But now it's become this talking point for a lot of people on the left. Like they don't want Christians to say anything, but like it completely doesn't matter. Like when Muslims are up there and they're able to wear their headdresses and stuff like that. And I don't know. My biggest thing is like if this movement is coming up and they are trying to push for something like something of a theocracy, like I'm totally against that. And I think any like real Christian should be against that. Like I don't see any place in the Bible. Like I said, I don't know the whole Bible. I can't quote it word for word or anything like that, but I don't see anything in the Bible that says like we're supposed to rule this world. I even believe that it says something about like the God of this world is Satan and stuff like that. So why should we be ruling Satan's world? Like, I don't know. Like I'm more along the lines with the other guy, how he was like advocating for more just having like our beliefs not being pushed down, and people should say, oh, separation of church and state, when they don't understand what it was, because it's not even in the Constitution. It was a private letter, I believe, with Thomas Jefferson, I think it was Thomas Jefferson. He wrote like some private letters, and that's where the whole separation of church and state comes from. But like he was saying in the letter, he wanted to, like, the reason why they put the establishment clause in there, like I said, was so the government can't mandate what religion you're supposed to follow, because a lot of like what they're trying to say falls into that. Like, and I just don't agree with it.
When this land was created, it was created for the land of the free. That was our whole big spiel on the American cell. You know what I mean? And it seems like the more we progress, the less freedom we have. Like, people don't realize how much of our freedoms have been taken in the last probably 30 years. You know, they just keep taking from us, and we think it's okay because we put our trust and faith in these government officials when they give two shits about us. All they care about is filling that 1%'s pocket. You know what I mean? And we put all our faith in that, and they just keep taking, like you said, they want us to be little fat chubbies on little floating benches, and that's it.
Let's look at it.
And there it is.
Right there. Oh, yeah, you guys don't see it because I still got the article up, but it's up there.
All right, there it is.
There, that way you guys can participate with the audience.
Yeah, you can just sit in your chair and drool, and you don't have to worry about anything. We'll control everything.
Yeah.
You just be a mind-numbing person that just sits there.
But see, like kind of like within the topic, like this like argument comes up in like the position for like people's stances on abortion. Like for me, for instance, I don't look at like my views on abortion because of my Christian beliefs. I literally, because I held these before I like actually viewed myself as a Christian. Like most of my life, I've considered myself more agnostic, where like I don't really know what was going on, but now I'm leaning more towards Christianity. But my whole point on abortion is that like the only, like, you can't tell me that at 9 months it's not a life. I mean, that like that's just appalling. Ridiculous. It is just ridiculous that they're trying to, like, I know it's like it started off
after birth too.
Yeah, like there was a Pennsylvania politician who had this interview, and he said after the baby's born, the parents and the doctor will go have a talk. What are they talking about?
Wow.
Like they've even had bills that they've tried to pass where like if they do abort a late term baby, and the baby survives. Like, they've had bills about whether or not the doctor should try to save the life, and there's Democrats that are voting against stuff like that, and it's just like it's.
Scripture says it's going to get worse and worse. People are going
to have itching ears,
and
they're going to believe what they want to believe.
Even God will send a strong delusion that they'll believe a lie because they'd rather love wickedness more than the truth. That should want us to seek out the truth. That should make us want to know
and like
what wickedness is, but his definition, not my definition.
That's the problem today. Like
nobody knows what true definition. Everybody just thinks, well, I know what this is. So
yeah, that gets into like a philosophy talk about like objective truth versus subjective truth, where objective truth says that there's only one truth, only one thing can
absolute
be right.
Truth.
And then there's subjective truth, which more people are starting to believe in, but it doesn't make sense because like with subjective truth, like there's multiple truths, and like you can be true and I can be true, and like in the instance with religion, like that can't be possible. I mean, like it would make all of our beliefs like completely nonsensical. But I mean, even like in any sort of instance with subjective truth.
Do you really think that God himself will place on his church 99 different fractions, denominations?
Nope. That's that leads into man's free will and how they've
how do you explain the other religions?
You have to go into
like Muslim and Buddhism and
a lot of that's
no
actually
religions. There's only but one creator.
And it's just people's different interpretations. Like I believe,
but that's your belief, though. That's your belief. You can't really push that on somebody else.
But I mean, it goes back to what I was saying about like objective truth and subjective truth. Like there's either one truth or there's multiple truths,
right.
And that means that like there's got to be one. So I mean.
What about Greek mythos? Greek mythos believed in multiple gods. Why could it not be a possibility in our society today? You believe in Christianity, that's one God, Jesus, God, whatever.
Well, Christianity is actually like the Trinity and all that stuff. Like,
whatever, I'm not big on the religion. My point is,
I don't believe in
what
Christianity.
about all the other ones?
I don't believe in Christianity as it's defined today.
Yeah. But I mean, the real
I don't believe
Christian Nationalism. Man, I hope my dad's not watching.
I believe.
I think there's a problem. I think there's a problem. The problem in America is that we look to religious leaders that don't know Scripture.
No, I'm not. I'm not just talking about America. I'm talking about because
the world in general.
Too.
And the world in general is looking to idols.
There have been different beliefs since the beginning of time.
Right.
True.
Right.
Thank you for the comment.
The one true God, one true God is about to stand up.
But here,
and make himself known, so there is no more confusion about who he is.
But I mean,
fact.
I hope so.
I mean, really, like when like you're talking about like the other religions and all that stuff, like Muslim and Islam and Greek mythology. I mean, really, it comes down to like the people just need to have a chat, because I think all of it is just the original text and doctrine has just been, because there's so many different languages and so many different beliefs and all this stuff. It's just like what's really true has just been conflated into everybody's different interpretations and opinions. And really, all you have to do to figure out what's really true is you just have to, because there is an objective truth. There can only be one truth. There can't be multiple truths, because think of truth, like what is truth? I mean, it's not something that you could see. It's not something that you could touch. I mean, truth in essence is another philosophy thing is like the metaphysics, like
philosophical is a proper
philosophical.
Word.
I don't care. Here you go.
I agree with you. There's only one truth. I believe truth is truth, and
like I was just covering in the other episode about uneducated opinions. I am one of those, and I don't care. But I mean, like,
pretty educated because you do your research.
Exactly. I mean that. Well, that gets into a whole.
There can only
topic,
be one true.
Exactly, and it just.
Dick.
Do I have anything for that?
In my opinion, is far from it.
Gosh, my brain just literally pooped.
But I mean, it really gets down to just determining like how where you base your truth in. And I've been watching a lot of these like really good philosophical. There you go. Now I can say it. Philosophical debates where like they're trying to figure out like what truth is, and like a lot of people today, like they can only ground their truth in what their brain tells them is truth, and they it just makes absolutely no sense, because if you're basing it on what your brain is, well, you have a brain. Everybody has their own brain, so the truth can't just come from the brain. There has to be.
So what you're saying is we should all start thinking on a hive mind.
No, definitely not. Unless you're thinking like me, then I love it. The world will be great if everybody just thinks like me. I don't know. I mean, the
last person that thought like that, he killed lots and lots of Jews.
I disavow all that.
Just saying.
I disavow it all. I don't know. I mean, I don't think we're ever going to get in a like whether you base your thoughts in like any sort of like religious doctrine or anything like that. I don't think we're ever going to get to the point where everybody can agree. I think there's always going to be evil in this world until the end of times. I don't think there's any way that, because you're always going to have something. So it goes back to I love this meme that I seen on the internet. I love the powerful memes, but it's two people looking at a number, and the number is either 6 or 9. One person sees it as 6, one person sees it as 9. They're both right in their interpretations on how they're seeing it, but it can only be one number. I really wish that I had the picture to bring it.
Because if you have a 6, you turn it upside down, it's a 9.
See, that's where subjective truth comes into it, where, yeah, you can, like, think of, like, the number 2, how they used to teach you when you were real little. Like, I was thinking about this the other day, like, when they taught you about, like, how to count numbers and stuff like this. They had the point of the 2, you would count that, and then the other point you would count, and that's how you counted 1, 2. And that's how I was taught, at least. But then you also have to think, like, there's other, like, you can find other points in, like, the 2. And, like, 2 plus 2 could honestly equal 6.
Well, if you go by that logic, technically when you write a 1, there's 1, there's 2.
Exactly. So that's where like the idea of like subjective truth and objective truth. I believe in objective truth where there has to be one truth. And I don't think this world is ever going to agree on an objective truth. There's always going to be multiple interpretations. But my main point on the Christian nationalism is I will absolutely push against people trying to promote a theocracy. I do not believe that is the way that this country should go. I think people should be able to believe what they want to believe. And I honestly believe like we should be able to talk about this stuff where it's become this whole point where like you say what you believe, and like the quickest way that people turn it down and like avoid the conversation is just saying like it's either uneducated, it's conspiratorial, it turns to violence, bigoted, it's hateful, like all these deflections from actually having the conversation has come up. And like even with these online platforms where
because the closer you get to truth, the more it will step on somebody's beliefs. Mm-hmm. And the more you step on somebody's belief, they'll say, wait a minute, I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And then
people don't want to be wrong.
And once you face,
I don't want to
I'm
be
wrong.
I don't mind, really.
I mean, I'll admit when I'm wrong. I don't like being wrong, though.
But once you face that I'm wrong,
mm-hmm.
You know,
people need to have more humility and be more humble.
We don't have humility and humbleness.
And I don't think we'll ever find that. I honestly don't.
We
Especially
used to. We used
to an extent,
in more
because
bulk
I mean
than we
these,
do now.
these conversations, like how you said, like with religion. I mean, like you said, there's been bloody wars over it and all this stuff. I mean, since the beginning of time, people have had their own beliefs on like what truth is, and I mean, I just don't. I mean, it's more up in our face because we have like the internet now, and we can see all these videos and all this stuff.
But it's
and,
even
like,
harder to find the
Yeah,
truth
we
in the
have
internet,
so much
man.
knowledge.
It really
we have
is.
so much.
That's why
things we just at our fingertips, but yet we're so confused as a people. We don't know what end is up. We don't know who's right. We have so many opinions about what truth is, but yet nobody knows really what truth,
Look how many times something's come out on the internet and everybody's like, I remember seeing an actor had died, and I'm like, oh my God, that dude really died, and they were like,
I think
no.
Jackie Chan has died like 25 times.
Yeah, and it's that's the problem with the internet, man. Is now instead of being factual, which when the internet first came out, that's all it was. It was factual, database.
Yeah, and then
driven,
everybody started getting on there, and the trolls came.
And then Wiki came out.
Yeah.
And now that is
I
use it for video games. That's it.
I literally just saw this kid in a debate. Well, not a kid. I mean, he's probably like close to his 30s, but he looks really young and soft.
But Wiki
and,
said so.
Yeah, that's literally like he tried to have a debate with somebody, and he brought up the site Wikipedia. And I really wish the guy going against him would be like, "Really, you're bringing up Wikipedia?" I mean, He was like just like letting it go and just continuing with the debate, and I was like, no, I'd have been like, dude, don't quote Wikipedia to me.
Like, this debate's over. I win.
I win.
He's pulling non-factual shit from a non-factual site.
I used to edit on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
I mean, now I think you actually have to pay to get the like settings to where you can actually edit stuff on this, so they don't just let anybody go on Wikipedia. They used to. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I used to just type up.
I didn't even know you could do that until one day.
Because I mean, like in high school, like they told us, like when we were doing like our reports and all that stuff, they were like, you cannot source Wikipedia for that exact reason.
Yeah.
I mean, even in college, so like all these educated people bringing up Wikipedia, you stupid.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
I'm so glad that I have that. I love that so much. Because now I don't have to say it anymore. I can just play that. And it's wonderful. But all right, we're going to go ahead and close out. We've been going for like about an hour and a half now. So we're going to go ahead and end this real quick. I want to put this up and just say this. Piss off, YouTube. But let me run my ad.
You're gonna upload this to YouTube too?
I am. Like I was saying when we started, like the last one that I did a segment with some John Oliver videos, and they wouldn't let me put the John Oliver videos up. So what I did was I deleted that little section, and I made a little picture with that little symbol on it. And I said, sorry, but the overlords at YouTube find this topic to be too spicy. So head over to Odysee and you can watch the whole video. Nice. So I'll just keep on doing that. And
very nice. So as they block it and take it down, you can edit the.
Well, I have to delete it and then edit it, but yeah, it's a process. But I don't care. I want to put my stuff wherever I can. I haven't been making ads not ads, but clips of the last few episodes to put on TikTok, because I don't think that we're getting any like traffic from TikTok. I get a lot of traffic on TikTok. People are watching it, but they're not coming over here to see the real content.
That's because most people on TikTok, oh, that's cool, swipe. Oh, that's cool, swipe. Yeah.
So I don't really care about TikTok anymore. I mean, eventually, if like I decide to, I might do it. But let's go ahead and run this ad real quick, and let's get this podcast over with. So, Couple of Hoosiers podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, CastBox, Google Podcasts, pretty much anywhere that you listen to your podcast. We live stream every Thursday and Saturday morning on Odysee. I upload to YouTube and Rumble. coupleofhoosiers.com. Go there to the website, and you can get everything all in one place. Subscribe to it, and you'll get new posts up to your email. And we lost the stream for a second, but it came back. Okay, R&M Kurtz Woodworks. It's me and my wife's little woodworking company. You can go ahead and go to Facebook, find us, talk to us. There's some of our stuff, but
I like that shelving over there.
Yeah, that's we made quite a few. Oh no, not that. This one. Yeah, we made quite a few of those shelves. People really like them, but I hope you've enjoyed the podcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Be sure to like it. Be sure to share it. Be sure to write a little comment. If you don't like it, let me know.
Thanks for coming, Big Papa Rick.
Thank you for having me. Sorry I talk so much.
Oh, man. It's about time you shut up. Jeez.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and end this real quick. Just to reiterate this. Piss off, YouTube. You guys take it easy.